It's Kevin McCullough on AM 970, The Answer.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? This is City Councilman Joe Borelli filling in for Kevin McCullough.
Kevin McCullough, and here we go.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Obliterating confusion.
Amplifying truth.
And pursuing clarity.
Kevin McCullough, now.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? This is Joe Borelli filling in for Kevin McCullough. We got a great show lined up. We're talking about Cuomo Gate. We are talking about the Brennan clearance revocation. We'll be taking your calls, 877-970-2999. Give us a shout-out.
Binge thinking.
Kevin McCullough.
Something interesting is happening with this.
Kevin McCullough, let me start with you.
I found this thing at townhall.com by Kevin McCullough. The big dog has come out of nowhere.
Kevin McCullough,
I just want to help people think.
nationally syndicated radio host and author of No He Can't.
He is playing the role as well as anybody could.
Kevin McCullough is a nationally syndicated radio host and author of No He Can't.
The odds are he's right.
It's Kevin McCullough Radio.
We're not going to make America great again. It was never that great.
Oh, my goodness, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, my goodness. There are gaffes, and then there are gaffes. A gaffe is when you go to another city. Maybe you're on the presidential, stumping. You're stumping across America. You go into Boston, and maybe you tell people that you think the Red Sox stink. Right? That's a gaffe. On a whole nother level is insulting the entire United States of America. Alex, play the clip again.
We're not going to make America great again. It was never that great.
It was never that great. It was never that great, says Andrew Cuomo, the governor of, in my opinion, even despite his governorship, one of the greatest states in the United States of America, in the greatest city in the United States of America. And, of course, the United States is great, full stop. Yet Andrew Cuomo decided to tell the world that it, in fact, wasn't. Alex, play it one more time. Play it one more time.
We're not going to make America great again. It was never that great.
Folks, I mean, the first thing you have to realize is that the audible gasps and horror that you hear from the crowd is amazing when you realize that this is a crowd of hand-picked Andrew Cuomo supporters. Right? This wasn't, he didn't show up at a Trump rally and say America stinks. He showed up at an Andrew Cuomo rally and said America was never that great. And his own audience was appalled. But, I mean, this is an audio clip that will come back to haunt this man for the rest of his career. I mean, we're going to play it one more time, and then we're going to I want you to visualize something. Play it one more time, Alex.
We're not going to make America great again. It was never that great.
Just visualize the 2020 ads, the revolving pictures of the American flag on the moon, the American flag on Mount Suribachi on Iwo Jima, the rotating pictures of Einstein and Martin Luther King and Maya Angelou and Thoreau and Washington and Hamilton, and just set to the audio of Andrew Cuomo saying, America was never that great. Never that great. Now, keep in mind, Andrew Cuomo was trying to criticize Donald Trump for his Make America Great Again slogan. Never mind that this slogan wasn't that offensive to Andrew Cuomo when he was using a similar line in many of his speeches. In 2010, he's running for governor. He said, we got to make New York great again. We got to make New York great again. Right? That to him wasn't so offensive. Right? Now, the latest spin from the Democratic Party trying to do damage control to suppress the outrage that's rightfully coming from people who are upset to hear their governor say their country stinks is to say, well, technically, when Donald Trump says make America great again, must he be implying that America's not so great? Well, yes and no. But there is a Pacific Ocean-sized gap between saying make America great again as a political commentary on the palatable decline of the United States of America under one particular president named Barack Obama, and what Andrew Cuomo said, which was America was never that great. We're not going to make America great again because it was never that great to begin with. Now, keep in mind, again, this is a man whose grandparents came here courageously as poor immigrants. And in one generation, their son became the governor. And in 2 generations, their grandchildren, one of them became a governor, married a Kennedy. I mean, the closest we have to royalty, right? The other is a prominent, well-known, and in some circles, well-respected journalist. I mean, he in some ways is the living embodiment of why America's great. Although we disagree with him politically, right? But we can still see that in just one generation, you go from poor immigrant with peanuts in your pocket to the governor of the biggest state at the time, well, maybe not at the time, but the second biggest state in the United States of America. I mean, it is incredible to think that this is someone who wants to be the bannerman for the Democratic Party in 2020. Now, did Andrew Cuomo get some pushback on this? You betcha. You betcha. Mark Molinaro was on Fox and Friends this morning. He's been on a dozen radio, TV. He was on Joe Piscopo on this network this morning. We have Julie Killian coming up in just 20 minutes to talk about this very issue. But I mean, I want to point out, though, what his Democratic opponent said, because she dinged him very hard on this, and she hit him in the right way. And I give her credit for this. For someone who's not very, doesn't have a long career in politics or political messaging, I think she hit the nail on the head. She said, this is a guy who doesn't know what a progressive sounds like. So he just thinks that by saying America stinks, he'd appeal to more progressives. You know, kudos to Cynthia Nixon for saying that, right? Being a progressive, again, I'm not a progressive. I don't believe in it. I don't buy into it. They're all touting the virtues of socialism now and whatnot. Put that aside, right? But she's at least competent enough to say, this is what this guy thinks being a progressive, a liberal is. We're just going to go out and trash America? That's not who we are. That's not who we are. You know, this reminds me of another thing. This reminds me of back in, I think it was 2014, might have been 2013. Barack Obama was facing a recession. The recession was in recovery. He was facing very poor numbers coming out of the Great Recession in 2008, 2009. The economy was sluggish. The economy wasn't doing well. And his response and his message to America was his what political scientists and media folks have now called the new normal. Right? He tried to convince America that the new normal is this. The new normal is 1% GDP growth. The new normal is high unemployment. The new normal is a sluggish economy. The new normal is not that much money in your pocket. The new normal is high taxes. The new normal is the welfare state. Right? He was wrong. And that led to Donald Trump. And in the same way, you have Andrew Cuomo not only insulting people, but just going down this same wrong, worn-out track. America was never great. We can't make America great. Is that the line a leader would use? Can you see John Wayne in one of the movies from World War II, you know, when he storms up a beach in his Jeep or with his rifle? Can you see John Wayne turning to the camera and saying, America was never that great? Right? Could you see, any one of our national heroes, the presidents, our forefathers, our ancestors, have this much of a gripe with American exceptionalism? Right? Isn't that what this is about? This is about Andrew Cuomo not acknowledging the fact of American exceptionalism with all of our warts and all. Folks, Great show. When we come back, we're going to be talking about New York 27, the Chris Collins seat. We're going to be talking with Lieutenant Governor candidate Julie Killian. We're going to be talking with Shelley Goldberg. We're going to be talking about John Brennan. Give us a call, 877-970-2999. This is Joe Borelli in for Kevin McCullough.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer.
It's a very slow ride on the westbound Staten Island Expressway from the Verrazano Bridge right across to 440. Eastbound a little slow for about a mile east of 440. Then the pace picks up on your way towards the Verrazano. Belt Parkway jammed eastbound from the Verrazano Bridge pretty much all the way out to Cross Bay Boulevard. Westbound we're jammed up from Kennedy Airport out towards Pennsylvania Avenue. Van Wyck not so quick at all here. We're jammed up both ways from the Belt Parkway up into the Kew Gardens interchange. LIE jammed eastbound from the BQE right out to the Cross Island Parkway. Grand Central delays start east at LaGuardia and take us out to the Cross Island. And the Cross Island is a mess on the southbound side. Frogs Neck pretty much all the way down towards Belmont Park. Frogs Neck Bridge is slow going to Queens, but it is better than the Whitestone Bridge. Both bridges perfectly acceptable options going back into the Bronx. Westbound Cross Bronx Expressway jammed up from the Bruckner to the George Washington Bridge. Quick look at your ride across the Hudson. 45 minutes outbound at the Holland Tunnel and the Lincoln Tunnel. Looks like 45 inbound at the Lincoln Tunnel as well. And now you know how not to go. I am Mike Barker on AM 970, The Answer.
Hugh Hewitt sees the strategy from the White House on Russia.
They're running out the clock on Mueller. They're going to make him try and subpoena the president or not subpoena the president.
That's what they're trying to do.
Because it is so blatantly unconstitutional. They're looking for an admission from the special counsel that he does not have the authority to subpoena the president. And he hadn't gone to Rosenstein to ask for it yet. And Rosenstein's going to say no because he must have read the Constitution.
The Hugh Hewitt Show. Weekday mornings at 3, right before Joe Piscopo at 6 on AM 970, The Answer.
Hi, Kevin McCullough, and every week we promise you that Mike Connors of Connors & Sullivan Law will come and answer your question as it relates to estate law and elder care, and he's back with us today. Mike, this week's question comes from Nadia. If a person has a trust from her first marriage and her husband passes away and she remarries, does her new husband get 50% of the trust, and can he take his name off if he wants? What say you, Mike Connors?
Well, the first part of the question is no, he doesn't get 50% of the trust. Can he take his name off? Well, I guess it's not on there, but can he decline to have any portion? Of course, this is where sometimes, especially on a second marriage, whether it's through divorce or death, a prenuptial agreement is not a bad idea, because in that case you can make it clear what assets belong to the husband's family, what assets belongs to the wife's family. So, and it should be in writing, because, you know, when people first get married, everything's fine. A few years later, kids from the different marriages start putting their 2 cents in, and problems happen. So the best thing is to have an agreement when the marriage is fresh. Everybody can think calmly. Prenuptial agreement, we take care of these problems.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. If you need help in helping to plan your estate and how it should be executed, you want to contact Connors & Sullivan. 718-238-6500 is the hotline, 718-238-6500. You can also send Mike a question. Ask Mike Connors at gmail.com. That's askmikeconnors@gmail.com. And be listening to his show Saturday morning at 8 o'clock on AM 570 The Mission, and Saturday evenings at 6 on AM 970 The Answer. Mike Connors, thanks so much.
Thank you, Kevin.
Chances are your home financing questions won't end when this show does. So the next time you have a question about home loans, ask the lending experts at Citizens Bank. They can help you every step of the way during the home buying process, starting with getting a pre-approval before you start shopping for a new home. Call 212-857-6668, 212-857-6668, and ask a citizen. Mortgages are offered and originated by Citizens Bank N.A., NMLS number 433960, Equal Housing Lender.
Listen to us anywhere. TuneIn.com, iHeartRadio.com. Get the app at AM970theanswer.com. Breaking news, perspective, and your calls. It's Kevin McCullough Radio.
It is so great to be here filling in for Kevin McCullough. This is Joe Borelli, City Councilman extraordinaire, I like to think, I want to open up the phone lines later on, 877-970-2999. I feel like every time I fill in for Kevin or whether I'm filling in for Joe Piscopo in the morning, I put out the calls hoping that somebody would call me about the news of the day. But inevitably, people always call me about the pothole or the problem with the city. So if you ever wanted a call your councilman and yell at him on the air, this would be a fantastic time to do it. We'll certainly get to your calls later on. But right now, I want to turn your attention to a very interesting part of the country and the state right now, Western New York, somewhere I've had the pleasure of spending some time in, somewhere I have a lot of friends and a lot of friends involved in this next situation. I mean, you all heard Representative Chris Collins, the congressman from New York's 27th Congressional District, which is about 7 or 8 counties in Western New York, including the city of Buffalo, Erie County, the biggest county out in Western New York. Chris Collins decided after he was indicted for some insider trading, not the best move. Hopefully he's innocent, maybe he's not, but he's not running for re-election regardless. This caused a domino effect of what's going to happen next in Western New York. I want to bring in my next guest. His name is Kevin Hardwick. He is a GOP Erie County legislator. He is a political science professor from Canisius College. He's also the host of Hardline with Hardwick on Sunday mornings on WBEN in Buffalo. Kevin, thank you for joining me. It's Joe Borelli.
You're welcome, Joe.
Well, let's get right into this. I mean, you have right now you have Larry Sabato's crystal ball moving the seat from a safe GOP to just a likely GOP. You have the DCCC now committing to support the Democrat. I mean, how has the Collins situation changed the likelihood of keeping that seat in Republican hands?
Well, it could have destroyed it entirely. The big question now is not whether one of the 20 or 30 people who have put themselves forward on the Republican side can beat the Democrat Nate McMurray, because I think they can, they should. The problem is, can you get Chris Collins off the ballot? Because right now he's still on the ballot. New York state election law makes it very difficult for a candidate this late in the process to get off the ballot. There are several ways he can do that, and certainly Republicans are exploring them, and they think that they've got some solutions. But that's not a given. If he stays on the ballot, it's a likely Democratic pickup, and this should be the safest Republican district in the state of New York.
Yeah, and I imagine it's a matter with the petitions that were filed on his behalf, having multiple committee to fill vacancies, multiple counties. On the Democratic side, though, you have Nate McMurray, who seems to be having a bit of trouble raising money and gaining steam. I mean, has that done a complete 180 now that?
Yeah, in fact, I talked to Nate recently. I had him on my radio program this past Sunday. The money's starting to pour in. It made the news around here that Rosie O'Donnell gave him $1,000. I mean, that's a given, and he's getting money from a lot of other sources. As you mentioned, the DCCC is taking a close look at his campaign. I mean, if they come in here big time, it's going to really heat up.
And how do you think the governor's race plays into this? Does Mark Molinaro have a big following in Western New York? Does Cuomo have? I mean, the Buffalo Bill. I mean, if New York City residents have heard one thing about state government, it's been the Buffalo Billion. I mean, so how does that race affect this one?
Yeah, well, I think it will have an impact. I think it'll bring out, in that district particularly, which is a Republican district, it will bring out Republicans to vote for Molinaro. In the neighboring district, which is the other part of Erie County, it's represented by Brian Higgins. It's a very Democratic district, and that takes in the city of Buffalo. So I think in this particular district, the governor's race will help. But, again, the big issue is can Chris Collins get off the ballot? He's got to find another seat to run for. Mm-hmm. Normally what happens around here is the way to get off the ballot is to have a lawyer, run for Supreme Court in some other part of the state just to get rid of him. That's not possible here because Chris Collins doesn't have a law degree, unless we can get him one in a month, and it may be possible. But the more likely scenario is to manufacture, if you will, a vacancy in some office that is not up for election this year. For instance, I'm a county legislator in Erie County. I'm not up this year, but if I resign before September 19th, then my office will go on the ballot, and the party leaders will pick someone to run for my office, and they could pick Collins. Now, I'm not making an announcement. I'm not going to do that, but someone may. I mean, it may be a dog catcher in Batavia, or someone else that falls on the sword, and then Collins can exit, and then one of these other candidates, including some friends of yours, I understand, can get on the ballot.
Yeah, let's talk about some of them, because you have obviously people I served with in the state assembly: Ray Walter, Dave DiPietro, Steve Hawley. I mean, three guys who I just consider extremely close personal friends, wonderful people. You have Senator Pat Gallivan, Senator Ort, Rasenhofer. I mean, who is the favorite? I mean, it's tough to gauge, though, isn't it? Right, because it really is an insider baseball game at this point.
Well, you've got certain people, I think, rising to the top. They're talking about interviewing candidates next week and making a selection. My guess is they probably have a good idea who it's going to be. I mean, one of the most intriguing ones is Senator Mike Ransonhofer. He is Chris Collins' state senator. It would take a 3-move, however, to get rid of him. Collins' county legislator Ed Rath. You may remember Mary Lou Rath was a state senator a while back. It's Ed Rath is her son. He would have to resign. That would start the ball rolling. It'd be like this three-team trade in baseball. He would resign. That would open up a position for Collins to run for. Collins runs for county legislature. Then you slide Ransonhofer in to run for Congress, and that opens up a state Senate seat, which is something that county legislator Ed Rath has wanted all along. It's his mother's seat that he would be taking. So it's like a three-person trade or a 3-team trade in baseball, and not just a 1-for-1, but you go kind of round robin here.
And this seems like a win-win, at least for Rasenhofer and Rath. How does the Senate races play out? I mean, do you see any vulnerability on behalf of some of these incumbent senators?
Well, there are some senators with races, but there aren't really a lot of hot ones. I mean, one of your friends I know is Ray Walter. He's a state assemblyman. I mean, one of the scenarios is similar. Someone drops out and Ray slides in, and someone runs for his assembly seat. The problem is Ray has a serious opponent.
Yeah.
It's not a gimme. Ray should win, but it's a tough race. And if you're someone else, you'd be reluctant to take that race, to resign your seat, to run for Ray's seat, to let Ray run for Congress.
People have this opinion that there's just always this deep bench of people to run for every seat. But you're right. When it's a seat that doesn't look like a layup, sometimes people are just so hesitant to put their name out there and give it a shot.
Well, I think that's a good sports analogy. I mean, why would you? If you've got a safe seat, why would you give it up to run for what's behind door number 2? I mean, the other thing is Democrats are talking about whatever happens, they're going to challenge it in court, and of course they are. And if you're part of this scenario, and in order to move up, if you will, you've got to resign your seat, and then the Democrats take it out to court, and they succeed, then you're out in the cold. You've lost your seat, and you've got nothing to show for it.
So let me ask you one final question. I mean, Western New York was a powerhouse area for the president. Just for the benefit of some of the listeners, it shares a border with Ohio and Pennsylvania. It shares a lot of the culture of the Midwest. Some would call it maybe a little bit some of the Rust Belt. I mean, how do you think Trump is doing in this part of the state?
Surprisingly well, especially in this district. Again, remember that Chris Collins, the guy that's now under indictment, was the first congressman to announce for President Trump. He was the first congressional representative to put himself out there.
Big supporter. Big supporter Chris Collins was. Kevin Hardwick, thank you very much for joining us. We have to leave it there. We have to head to a break. When we come back, we'll have Lieutenant Governor candidate Judy Killian. Thank you.
News, opinion, passion. This is AM 970, The Answer.
We have sunshine and 86 degrees on this Thursday evening. What's going on? We have the answer. Well, Governor Cuomo is signing off on legislation that bans children under the age of 18 from using indoor tanning facilities. Under past laws in New York, children aged 17 and over were permitted to use such facilities without parental consent. The governor hopes the move protects more children from the harmful effects of indoor tanning booths, such as skin cancer. Mayor de Blasio says Governor Cuomo should issue a very clear statement saying that America is a great country.
We have a lot of work to do in America to make it a more fair and just country. But that doesn't take away from our greatness. The concept of America is great.
The governor is still facing sharp criticism after he said Wednesday that America was never that great during an event. The mayor spoke today at an unrelated bill signing event, and he says the governor obviously misspoke, but he understands the sentiment.
I think he should make very clear that he thinks this is a great country, because it is a great country. At the same time, if he's saying that this country needs more work, he's right about that.
Fans of Aretha Franklin are taking time to remember her outside the historic Apollo Theater in Harlem. This lady, Linda, says her music spoke to her.
I live on Roosevelt Island, but I grew up a lot. My family lived in Harlem, and the projects, a lot of us grew up in Harlem, and all we did was sing her music and love her songs, definitely.
People took pictures of the marquee that bears her name and her plaque in the Apollo's Hall of Fame outside the front door. The legendary singer passed away today. In sports, Mets on top of the Philadelphia Phillies in Philly, 5-3, Game 1 of a doubleheader. Game 2, 7:30 tonight. And the Rays, they beat the Yankees 3-1 at the stadium to win that 3-game series. Taking a look at the traffic, 45 minutes each way to Lincoln Tunnel. Outbound side of the Holland Tunnel now close to an hour delay, about 15 on the city-bound side. Taking a look at your forecast, it breaks down like this. Partly cloudy tonight, low 76. Sunshine tomorrow, afternoon showers and storms, a pretty good bet, high of 87. Then clouds on Saturday, chance of a shower or a stray storm, high of 83. And now you know what's going on. I am Mike Barker on AM 970, The Answer.
Hi, Kevin McCullough. If you're planning an engagement party or wedding, maybe a corporate event or birthday, anniversary party, bar mitzvah, have you considered having it on a luxury private yacht? You know, your guests would be so impressed, and the memory that you get to make in that moment lasts a lifetime. Francesca is my friend, and she's going to help you find the yacht that's best for your event. And when we work with her for our big schmooze cruise every fall, Francesca, she throws out the red carpet for us, but she does that for everybody. Friends, you're never going to be able to impress clients or guests any better than having Francesca make sure that your cruise around Manhattan is in her hands. She's got beautiful vessels in her fleet that can accommodate from 2 to over 1,000, and guests can board at convenient locations throughout the metro area. Private yacht not in your budget? Then how about a private deck charter? She's got yachts that are all fully insured and Coast Guard certified, and if you go to franstouchofclass.com, you can see them for yourself. Give her a call, find out about the options. Fran will fill you in on the yachts, describe the delicious cuisine, and give you the details of all the services provided. Talk to her today. In fact, talk to her right now about adding that extra touch of class to your next event. 212-385-9400, 212-385-9400, or go online to franstouchofclass.com. That's franstouchofclass.com, or 212-385-9400.
At Smoothie King, the journey to blend cleaner, more delicious smoothies never stops. Every ingredient is selected to help you feel good inside and out. They call it cleaner blending. And now they're blending with more whole veggies like kale, carrots, and whole organic spinach. If you want something healthy or indulgent, Smoothie King has the smoothie for you. Our $5 Friday is full of fruits and veggies and tastes good. Come have breakfast for $5, lunch for $5, dinner for $5. $5 Fridays for 32 ounces, only at Smoothie King. Smoothies with a purpose.
Hi, Phil Van Horn here from Blue Rock Energy. At Blue Rock, better rates are just one part of tailoring an energy strategy to your business needs. In addition to finding the right rate structures for electric, gas, and renewable energy sources, we explore things like LED lighting, energy management systems, and HVAC improvements, so you can conserve energy in a way that's unique to your business. Visit BlueRockEnergy.com today to learn how to get a free on-site assessment.
Listen to Joe Piscopo in the morning, weekdays at 6. Mike Gallagher at 10 on AM 970. The Answer. Continuing coverage of Decision 2018, unparalleled access to assist you in the most important midterm elections of your lifetime, exclusively at Kevin McCullough Radio.
We're not going to make America great again. It was never that great.
Oh, my goodness. I can just keep listening to that over and over and over and over and over again. This is Joe Borelli on Kevin McCullough Radio, filling in for Kevin McCullough as I don't even know where he is. He's cruising the high seas or he's vacationing with his family. Chances are he's probably doing something work-related. But, I mean, going back to this Cuomo thing, this is the news of the day. No matter what station you're listening to, no matter what network you're watching on TV, there has been wall-to-wall coverage of what Andrew Cuomo had said yesterday in a rally, again, amongst his own hand-picked supporters. His own hand-picked supporters were appalled, were gasping, were sighing, were disappointed with the things he said because, he didn't just insult the local baseball team. He decided, I'm going to insult the United States of America. Now, coming up right now, right here, we have an unbelievable guest. She is the nominee, the Republican nominee for lieutenant governor. She's going to be taking on Kathy Hochul and Andrew Cuomo. Julie Killian, how are you? Thank you for coming on the show.
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me.
This is the day. This is the day we need to hear from you and Mark. All day long, you guys have been doing such a tremendous job, just killing it on the radio and on TV, talking about this awful Andrew Cuomo gaffe.
It's unconscionable. It's almost unimaginable. If I hadn't heard it myself, I wouldn't believe it.
Yeah,
it's a shame, and. I am so proud to be on the ticket as lieutenant governor with Mark Molinaro, our governor candidate, because he is the epitome of the American dream. Mm-hmm. A guy that grew up on food stamps with a single mom who has dedicated his life to public service and is now running for governor of the fifth largest state in the country. Yeah. If that's not about opportunity and how great America is and the opportunities we provide people, I don't know what is.
Yeah, that's something Mark has been talking about throughout the campaign. I said this earlier to somebody else. You would think someone like Governor Cuomo, whose grandparents came here as poor immigrants, whose first son became the governor of the state, whose grandchildren are now the governor and a well-known journalist. You would think he'd recognize that America is great. Wouldn't you?
Yes. It's shocking, and what people keep thinking, does he really think that? I actually think he does. I'm tired of people bashing America and apologizing for America. We are absolutely, without a doubt, the greatest country in the world. With no doubt.
Do you think this is somewhat of a part of a strategy the Democrats are going to use? Obviously, I think he said the wrong thing here, but he was trying to say something along the same lines. Do you think this is something that Democrats are going to try to bring up when Donald Trump is out there on the stump, when he's obviously in the midterms and then in 2020, talking about how America is becoming great again? Is this what we're going to see more often from Democrats?
I wouldn't be surprised, given the way that they've been talking about the socialism and anti-capitalism. What makes this country great is effort and hard work by millions and millions of people over 200 years that have brought us to where we are today, where we are the greatest country in the world. We're free. We have amazing law enforcement and military that make us safe and free every day, and educational opportunities and business opportunities. And what we really need in New York is to really kind of get those going because of the onerous regulations that Governor Cuomo has put on both our educational institutions, our businesses. We really need to take a hatchet to those.
Yeah, it sounds like it sounded like almost he was acknowledging that his state isn't doing as great as it potentially once was. And again, I'm not like him. I'll go back and say New York State is pretty great. It was great. Certainly, we built the Empire State. Think of all the things New Yorkers have done, right? New York's a great place. Maybe he's trying to cover for the fact that his state is not so great under his watch by trying to tell us all that the rest of America may not be so great.
No, I would absolutely agree with you, and I have been traveling all over this state, and we do have an amazing state. Right now I'm up in Lewis County in Dairy Country, and to drive around, it's gorgeous across our state. We have amazing natural resources. We have amazing agricultural products. Down where I live and where you live, we have Broadway. We have the financial industry. Mm-hmm. We have real estate. We have all kinds of industries and great things around New York that make us great. And what those All of them need a shot in the arm, though, because we are not operating at optimum levels at this point. And I'm so thrilled to be running with Mark, because I know that when he is elected, and we're up there in Albany, all those businesses and all the people of New York will have new opportunities. And, they have a group called Unshackle Upstate. Well, unshackle everybody and let them do their thing. And I have heard as I go around the state how there's not many businesses are trying to grow but don't have enough workers. We need to focus on workforce development. Many are trying to grow, but they say the paperwork is too much for them. They can't hire more employees. So let's make it easy.
We got to go, but I think you hit the nail on the head about what's going on with Governor Cuomo. Does the media ever cover it? Nope, never. Coming up, we got Shelley Goldberg. We'll be taking your calls, 877-970-2999. This is Joe Borelli filling in for Kevin McCullough.
Joe Walsh believes our justice system has failed.
These jihadists at this makeshift compound in New Mexico, they were training to commit acts of terror. Judge Sarah Backus, she allowed them to post a bond and go free. I don't know how you respond to that. These 4 Muslim jihadists should be locked up. They should never see the light of day.
The Joe Walsh radio program, weeknights at 9, right before Eric Metaxas at 11 on AM 970. The Answer.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
I've got ankylosing spondylitis, which is a arthritic disease, calcification of the major joints in the spine, and I just don't have the pain that I used to have. It's really kind of amazing. Balance of Nature has been an amazing product. I've recommended it to literally hundreds. I'm a pastor, and I've said, y'all just try it. Give it a month. Give it a try. And so hopefully they have. But it's an amazing product, and the neatest thing is when you first open up that bottle and you can smell the fruits and vegetables. Every time I open one, I just get a big kick out of that.
When you call, use discount code THEANSWER, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751, or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code THEANSWER.
Sunday nights are about to get a little more interesting as a new voice hits the airwaves. His perspectives are different because he's different. He's an author. He's worked on political campaigns. He's conservative. And he just graduated high school, where he was the student body president. His name is Joe Silverstein, and he's the host of The Joe Silverstein Show. Tune in Sunday nights at 9, right here on AM 970, The Answer.
Good news. You are not stuck with your health care plan. Really, you have a choice, and it's a great one. It's called MediShare, and if you've heard about it and wondered what exactly it is, it's a way that people share their health care bills, and these are people who have a common faith, who want to be part of something beautiful that not only meets their health care needs, but the needs of others too. And it's people who love to save money, big time. MediShare members typically save $500 a month per family on their healthcare costs. That is a life changer for people. So this could be for you. Maybe it's what you've been looking for, a way to pay healthcare bills that's not only very smart financially, but it's even profound. MediShare is a nonprofit with 400,000 members nationwide who pray for and share with each other. So yes, you're not stuck. There's another way, and it could save you a lot. Find out more. Call 844-41-BIBLE. That's 844-41-BIBLE. 844-41-BIBLE.
Gregory Floyd, host of Reaching Out, gets answers to the tough questions from people in the know.
We have Eric Gonzalez, District Attorney of Brooklyn here. Let's talk about criminal justice reform.
People are looking for programming that keeps us safe, and that we, in Brooklyn and Manhattan, we target what we call the drivers of violent crime, the people who are going to hurt us or hurt our family members. That we focus on those people and we incapacitate them and we put them in prison. But for so many others, the criminal justice system has become a place where people come in and the case is processed at tremendous cost to all of us, taxpayers, and to especially young black and brown people who become criminalized when nothing of substance happens with their case.
It's Reaching Out with Gregory Floyd, Saturday nights at 7 on AM 970, The Answer.
proving that he may be ready for prime time. Frank Morano. Sunday mornings at 4 on AM 970. The Answer.
Look around, how lucky we are to be alive right now. Look around at how lucky we are to be alive right now. History is happening in Manhattan, and we just happen to be in the greatest city in the world,
If it's happening in New York or across the globe, learn why it matters first on Kevin McCullough Radio.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, on your ride home tonight. This is Joe Borelli filling in for Kevin McCullough, and boy, that stuff about Andrew Cuomo last segment just really sits so poorly in my stomach. I know it upsets so many of you, but I gotta be honest, it's just nice to get home after a day's work, and you try to put all the political drama and the nonsense and the Cuomo-isms and even the Trump-isms, because let's be frank, politics on both sides is just so draining, and you want to get home and you want to spend time with your family, and that's why we have our next guest, Shelley Goldberg, who, my goodness, forever she's been the New York One parenting reporter, and I mean, as a dad of two little kids, I mean, I have one who's a 2-month-old, I have one who's 2, almost 3, turns 3 in September, so I will call him a 3-year-old for all intents and purposes, but boy, are we in the thick of it now, and we could use your help, Shelley. Shelley, are you there?
I am there. Congratulations on your new one, Joe.
Thank you.
And by the way, before we go any further, I just want to let you know, I am just as upset about that Cuomo comment, so I know how all your listeners feel. I mean, this is a great country. This is a phenomenal country, and shame on Cuomo.
Shame on him. You're absolutely right.
Yes. So congratulations, and so here's my thought. I'm going to give you some advice, Joe, because I know that, dads with a new one, you need some advice.
I need some help. My wife can attest. I mean, we have the situation now where my youngest son will not be soothed by me holding him. He only wants his mommy. He only wants his mommy, and it's frustrating to me because I feel like I'm not helping.
Oh, all right, well, maybe you need a puppy dog for yourself to hold. She can hold the baby, you can hold the puppy. But here's my recommendations. I'm just thinking off the cuff here and some things to help you. I want you or your wife to go out and buy some presents, wrap them, so that when people come to the house to see the baby, you can give them the present already wrapped and tell them to give it to your 3-year-old son?
Yes, Jealous Joe, we'll call him for now.
Okay, give Jealous Joe a present that you've thought ahead to have wrapped, and I think that will help. Because you know how people come in and they want to see the baby.
Of course.
And, but coming in with a present might be something that they could do. Here are some other things. Keep in mind, Joe, that now that you have 2 lovely kids, you get to be a kid forever. Because every time you see puppy dogs, Lego blocks, cotton candy, you can enjoy it at the same level, with the same level of enthusiasm.
Except the Lego toys are stuck to the bottom of my foot. The cotton candy is stuck to my arm. No, but you're right. It's tough to always recognize that you're in that moment, that these are fleeting moments, and they're not going to last forever. And it is tough to try to remind yourself that, the Lego I just stepped on hurt, but it's going to hurt so much worse when there's no Legos on the floor.
Oh, so beautifully said. So that's the gift you get. You get to be a kid again and again and again. But the responsibility that you get with that is it's like holding up a mirror to Joe. What do I mean by that?
Yeah.
If you want your kids to be patient, Joe, you have to be that guy online at the movies that's patient, or in the store that's patient. But you have to reflect the values that you want to see in your children. You just can't hope that they're going to turn out a certain way. You got to walk the walk and talk the talk, my friend. So get ready.
Well, let me ask you another question. So right now, we couldn't bring the newborn away on vacation earlier in the summer. Obviously, he was a blob, right? For all intents and purposes, he's a little blob, and he's a cute one. But in October, my parents are celebrating their 40th anniversary. We want to take the family away. We're thinking some sort of a beach destination. I mean, any tips for traveling? I mean, just to make it. just to make it still a vacation for mom and dad, if you can get what I'm saying?
I do, and I'm going to stay away. The next time we speak, I will have a whole list of places. But you did bring up something interesting, which is, especially when you have children, you have to make sure that you and your wife have time to spend alone, or a date night, or to spend time with grown-up friends, or you can't be all child-centered. You have to make sure you both don't lose each other. Parenting is one thing, and it's the most magnificent thing on earth, but your relationship with your wife is just as important. So you want to leave time and make time for date night or going out with relatives, friends, and you're already thinking about that. You're thinking about this vacation. So
yeah, we're trying.
Good for you.
We're trying.
Let me give you another tip. Take a look at your friends, Joe Borelli, and make sure there are no knucklehead friends.
Well, you know Frank Morano, unfortunately. I mean, we both know Frank, but Shelley, we got to leave it right there. Thank you so much. When we come back, we're going to talk about John Brennan. We're going to preview tomorrow's show when I'm back in for Kevin McCullough. Give us a call, 877-970-2999.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer.
It's not a good ride at all here on the Parkway in New Jersey. Southbound delay started in Paramus at 163, taking us right down to 157. And it's okay through the Essex tolls down to 147, but just south of 147, it's going to be heavy pretty much from that spot right on down to 132, then heavy again across the Driscoll Bridge. And more stop and go pretty much all the way through Monmouth County from 117 right on down to 105 before the pace gets better. 287 south from Bound Brook to Edison, that's a stop and go ride, and 440 continues to be slow on the northbound side into the Parkway. On the Turnpike, western spur jammed up top to bottom, eastern spur south, slow 16 down towards 15X. Across the Hudson River, here are the very latest numbers. Best way into town, without a doubt, is the George Washington Bridge. Upstairs and down, really not a bad ride. Worst way out of Manhattan continues to be the Holland Tunnel with an hour delay, 20 minutes inbound. And looks like the Lincoln Tunnel's 45 minutes on the outbound side and 30 to 40 on the inbound side. And it's very slow here, especially coming off the Turnpike on the eastbound side of 495. And now you know how not to go. I am Mike Barker on AM 970, The Answer.
On the streets of Miami, speed is the law. So when a corn dog goes after the wrong girl...
Oh, heartburn!
One man will bring her Tums Ultra Strength. I'm on my way. Don't get wrecked by heartburn. Nothing works faster than Tums.
Your mustard's fast, but my Tums are faster.
And with Tums on-the-go rolls, it's never been easier to leave heartburn behind.
You did it.
Yeah. You gonna finish that corn dog?
Tums Ultra Strength, available in a store near you.
Hi, Kevin McCullough here. You know I love history, and so do you. So I hope you'll join me this fall on the amazing D-Day Beaches Tour in Normandy. That's right, the invasion that sealed Hitler's doom, Omaha and Utah. Discover this sacred patch of sand with me. 10 days in France, luxury hotels, fine dining, fully escorted by America's leading expert on France and the D-Day invasion, Ken Chase. $39.89, and that includes your airfare from New York and your travel insurance. Cruise on the Bullet Train, stand at Patton's gravesite, visit the most famous crossroads in the war, Bastogne, cross Pegasus Bridge, see where the Rangers scaled the cliffs at Pointe du Hoc, see the medieval church where Private Steele was snagged on the steeple. Call my friends at Conservative Tours, 888-733-9494. That's 888-733-9494. Or go to conservativetours.com. All your sightseeing in Paris as well. I'll see you on Omaha Beach.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
Jelly. Jelly adjective. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt US Kids, and the Ad Council.
Jay Sekulow live is next on AM 970. The Answer. Kevin McCullough Radio.
My goodness, an hour of radio goes by so fast. I wanted to get more into this John Brennan revocation of his security clearance. I just can't see why the left is so angry that someone who's no longer in government and who is now a reporter, whose job it is to broadcast stuff for the world to see, I can't understand why people would be outraged that he no longer has a security clearance. Now, I'm old enough to remember in 2014 when people on the left, specifically Senator Dianne Feinstein, other Senate Democrats, liberal journalists, all of these folks wanted John Brennan to be fired. He was called the most talented liar in Washington. I just don't see how. But you know what? I don't even know why I'm doing this exercise, because the answer is always Trump, right? What happened between 2014 and 2018? The answer is Trump, right? We felt one way about John Brennan. He was this person. He lied to us about drone strikes. He lied to us about spying on Senate staffers, right? We hated him when he was Obama's CIA director. Now suddenly he's okay. The reality is, John Brennan is only doing three possible things with his security clearance. Three possible things. Number one, he's using his security clearance to get information that he's then leaking to the media, which is why the media is really upset that he doesn't have it. Number two, he's just completely making stuff up. Nothing. Just nothing is based in fact, right? He's the one who came up with this idea that the Russians have something on Donald Trump. There's been no verification of that. There's been no evidence of that. The Russians have something on Donald Trump, right? Or number three, the reality, and this is what I think is the case, he's giving us his opinion. And his opinion is anti-Trump. His opinion is pro-Obama. His opinion is pro-liberalism. He voted for a communist presidential candidate when he was a young man. He's giving us his opinion, and he's using the fact that he has the security clearance to basically allow the audience to think that what he's saying is based in some secrety thing that only he and a few other people know about. That's the truth about John Brennan. That's the reality of who John Brennan is. He's the guy who leaked the Steele dossier to Harry Reid in August of 2016. This revocation was a long time coming, and I only hope it wasn't the only one. Now, this is Joe Borelli filling in for Kevin McCullough. I'll be back tomorrow night. Tomorrow night we have a great show. We're going to be talking about the Uber and Lyft caps. We're going to be talking about the New York Jets and how Joe Imperatrice, my good friend, the founder of Blue Lives Matter NYC, rejected a proposal to work for the Jets, really with the Jets as a police representative. We're going to talk to Ron Castorina, a state assemblyman, about parole and problems with the jails. We're going to talk to Kayleigh McEnany about everything Donald Trump. Tune in tomorrow. This is Joe Borelli filling in for Kevin McCullough, and I will talk to you tomorrow night. Enjoy your ride home.